Are you of the opinion that this is a suitable display for a marriage engagement?
I believe it is very suitable, although I've only been in love once.
Oh, I don't know that I'm much interested in your love life, Merriman.
No, sir. It is not a very interesting subject. I never think of it myself.
Naturally, I'm sure. That will do, Merriman. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Ernest Worthing. How are you, old boy?
Algy, my dear, what brings you up to the country?
Well, I've come to return the cigarette case you left in the smoking room last time you dined with me. It is yours, isn't it?
It most certainly is. Thank you, old pal. But no need to come all the way to the country to return our cigarette case.
I've also come to accompany my Aunt Augusta and cousin Gwendolyn to your dinner. Surely you meant to invite me as well.
I surely never intended to invite you at all.
Oh, I know. You are absurdly careless about sending out invitations. The way you flirt with my cousin Gwendolyn is perfectly disgraceful. It's almost as bad as the way cousin Gwendolyn flirts with you. I'm afraid Aunt Augusta won't quite approve of you.
I am in love with Gwendolyn. I've invited her to the country to propose to her.
You behave as if you were married to her already. And I don't think you ever will be.
Why on earth do you say that?
I don't give my consent.
Your consent.
My dear fellow, Gwendolyn is my first cousin. And before I allow you to marry her, you shall have to clear up this whole question of Cecily.
Cecily.
So that's why you're here.
I couldn't help but notice the inscription on your cigarette case. From little Cecily, with fondest love for her dear Uncle Jack. Why does your dear niece Cecily call you Uncle Jack, when your name is in fact Ernest?
It is a very ungentlemanly thing to read a private cigarette case. But, if you must know, my name isn't Ernest, it's Jack.
You've always told me it was Ernest. You answered the name of Ernest. You look as if your name is Ernest. You're the most earnest-looking person I ever saw in my life.
Well, my name is Ernest in town and Jack in the country.
What?
In order to get to town, I have always pretended to have a younger brother of the name Earnest, who lives in town and gets into most dreadful scrapes. That, my dear Algy, is the whole truth, pure and simple.
The truth is never pure and rarely simple. What you really are is a Bunburyist. You're one of the most advanced Bunburyists I know.
What on earth do you mean?
You have invented a very useful younger brother, Ernest, in order that you may be able to get to town as often as you like. I have invented an invaluable permanent invalid called Bunbury, in order that I may be able to get out of the town whenever I choose. Bunbury is perfectly invaluable.
I'm not a Bunburyist at all.
Lady Bracknell and Miss Gwendolyn Fairfax.
Quickly, Merriman, set this platter aside.
Good afternoon, dear Algernon. What a nice surprise. I hope you are behaving well.
I am feeling very well, Aunt Augusta.
Well, that is not quite the same thing. In fact, the two things rarely go together.
Dear me, you are looking smart.
Oh, I am always smart. Am I not, Mr. Worthing?
You are quite perfect, Miss Fairfax.
Oh, I hope I'm not that. It would leave no room for developments, and I intend to develop in many directions. Mr. Worthing, I'll have a cup of tea and one of those nice cucumber sandwiches you promised me.
Certainly.
Mary, why are there no cucumber sandwiches? I ordered them, specially.
Sir,
The cucumber sandwiches.
the platter is inside.
Good heavens! Please escort Lady Bracknell inside at once and prepare all the refreshments she so rightfully deserves.
Yes.
Come with me, Algernon. We can discuss our dinner plans for Saturday.
I am afraid, Aunt Augusta, that I shall have to give up the pleasure of dining with you. It is a terrible disappointment to me. But the fact is, I just had a telegram to say that my poor friend Bunbury is terribly ill again. They seem to think I should be with him.
This Mr. Bunbury seems to suffer from curiously bad health.
Yes, poor Bunbury is a dreadful invalid.
Well, I must say, Algernon, I think it is high time that Mr. Bunbury made up his mind whether he was going to live or to die.
I should speak to Bunbury at once, Aunt Augusta. If he is still conscious.
Thank you, Algernon. It's very thoughtful of you. Gwendolyn, join me for sandwiches.
Right behind you, Mother.
Charming day it's been, Miss Fairfax.
Don't talk to me about the weather, Mr. Worthing. Whenever people talk to me about the weather, I always feel quite certain that they mean something else. And that makes me nervous.
But I do mean something else. And I would like to be allowed to take advantage of Lady Bracknell's temporary absence.
I would certainly advise you to do so.
Miss Fairfax, ever since I met you, I've admired you more than any girl I've met. Ever since I met you.
Yes, I'm quite well aware of that fact. Why, I've always longed to love someone of the name Earnest. There is something in that name that inspires absolute confidence. The moment Algernon first mentioned to me that he had a friend called Earnest, I knew I was destined to love you.
You really love me, Gwendolyn?
Passionately.
Done. But you don't really mean to say that you couldn't love me if my name wasn't Earnest.
But your name is Earnest.
Yes, I know it is. But supposing it was something else, I don't think that name suits me at all.
It suits you perfectly. It is a divine name. It has a music of its own. It produces vibrations.
Well, really, Gwendolyn, I must say, there are lots of nicer names. I think Jack is a charming name.
Jack? Oh! No. There is very little music in the name Jack, if any at all. It does not thrill. It produces absolutely no vibrations. The only name is Earnest.
Gwendolyn, we must get married at once.
Married?
You know that I love you. You led me to believe, Miss Fairfax, that you were not absolutely indifferent to me.
Why, I adore you, but you have not proposed to me yet.
Well, may I propose to you now?
I think it would be an admirable opportunity. And to spare you any possible disappointment, Mr. Worthing, I think it's only fair to tell you quite frankly beforehand that I am fully determined to accept you.
Will you marry me?
Of course I will, darling. Oh, I hope you'll always look at me just like that, especially when there are other people present.
Mr. Worthing! Rise from that posture, it is most indecent!
Mamma, I am engaged to Mr. Worthing.
Pardon me! You are not engaged to anyone. When you do become engaged to someone, I or your father, should help permit him, will inform you of the fact. And now I have a few questions to put to you, Mr. Worthing. Wait for me in the carriage, Gwendolyn.
But Mamma!
Gwendolyn. I feel bound to tell you, Mr. Worthing, that you are not down on my list of eligible young men. However, I am quite ready to have your name should your answers be what a really affectionate mother requires. How old are you?
22.
A very good age to be married at. Are your parents living?
I've lost both my parents.
To lose one parent, Mr. Worthing, may be regarded as misfortune. To lose both looks like carelessness. Who was your father?
I'm afraid I really don't know. I said that I'd lost my parents. It would be near to truth to say that my parents seem to have lost me. I don't actually know who I am by birth. I was found.
Found?
The late Thomas Cardew, an old gentleman of a very charitable and kindly disposition, found me and gave me the name of Worthing, because he happened to have a ticket for the town Worthing in his pocket at the time.
And where did the charitable gentleman with the ticket find you?
In a handbag.
A handbag!
Yes, Lady Bracknell, I was in a handbag. A somewhat large brown leather handbag, with handles to it, an ordinary handbag. In fact, it was left in the cloakroom and given to him by mistake for his own.
Mr. Worthing, to be born, or at any rate bred, in a handbag, whether it had handles or not, seems to me to display contempt for the ordinary decencies of family life.
Well, what would you advise me to do?
I would strongly advise you, Mr. Worthing, to try to acquire some relations as soon as possible, and make a definite effort to produce at any rate one parent by the sex before the season is quite over.
Well, I don't see how I can possibly manage to do that. I produce the handbag at any moment. It is in my dressing room. I really think that should satisfy you, Lady Bracknell.
Me, sir? What has it to do with me? You can hardly imagine that I and Lord Bracknell would dream of allowing our only daughter, a girl brought up with utmost go off all right, old boy? You don't mean to say that Gwendolyn refused you?
As far as she is concerned, we are engaged. Her mother is perfectly unbearable. If you'll excuse me, dear boy, I must see my darling Gwendolyn before her beast of a mother drags her back to the city.
You are far too alone, dear Dr. Joshua.
Prism,
You should get married.
the precept as well as the practice of the primitive church was distinctly against matrimony.
Oh, that is obviously the reason the primitive church has not lasted up to the present day. And you do not seem to realize, dear doctor, that by persistently remaining single, a man converts himself into a permanent public temptation. Men should be more careful. This very service in his wicked vessel strength.
But is a man not equally attractive when he is married?
No married man is ever attractive, except to his wife.
Often I've been told, not even to her.
That depends on the intellectual sympathies of the woman. Maturity can always be depended on. Ripeness can be trusted. Young women are green.
This prison. Whatever do you mean?
I spoke horticulturally. My metaphor was drawn from fruits. Where is Cecily? I wish Uncle Jack would allow his poor unfortunate brother to come to the country sometime. We might have a good influence over him, Miss Prism. I'm sure you certainly would.
I have no doubt in my mind that any man fortunate enough to fall under Miss Prism's influence is a very lucky man indeed.
I don't think even I could produce any effect on a character that, according to his own brother's admission, is irretrievably weak and vacillating. Besides, I'm not for this modern trend of turning bad people into good people at moment's notice. As a man sows, so let him reap. Oh, I really don't see why you keep a diary at all, Cecily.
In order to enter the wonderful secrets of my life. If I didn't write them down, I should probably forget all of them.
Memory, my dear Cecily, is the diary that we all carry about with us.
Yes, but it usually chronicles the things that have never happened. That couldn't possibly have happened.
These speculations are pointless. I think I will continue to have a stroll. I find I have a headache after all, and a walk might do it good.
Mr. Earnest Worthing has arrived.
Mr. Earnest Worthing? Uncle Jack's brother?
Yes, miss. He said he was anxious to speak to you privately for a moment.
I've never met a really wicked person before. Ask Mr. Earnest Worthing to come here at once.
Yes, miss.
You must be my little cousin Cecily.
You are under some strange mistake. I am not little. In fact, I believe I am more than usually developed for my age. But I am your cousin Cecily. And you are my wicked cousin Ernest.
That is why I would like you to reform me.
I'm afraid I've no time this afternoon.
But would you mind my reforming myself this afternoon?
I think you should try.
Brilliant, I feel better already.
You are looking a little worse.
That is because I'm hungry.
How thoughtless of me. I should have remembered that when one is going to lead an entirely new life, one requires regular and wholesome meals.
You are the prettiest girl I have ever seen.
Miss Prism says all good looks are a snare.
They are a snare that every sensible man would like to be caught in.
Oh, I don't think I should care to catch a sensible man. I shouldn't know what to talk to him about. Won't you come in?
Mr. Worthing, whatever can the matter be? You appear positively distressed.
It's my brother.
More shameful deaths and extravagance.
his life of pleasure.
Dead!
Dead.
Your brother Earnest.
Why, dead?
What a lesson for him. I trust he would profit by it. Uncle Jack!
Oh!
Oh, I'm pleased to see you. I got such a surprise. Who do you think is in the dining room? Your brother! Oh, your brother Ernest! Just arrived a few minutes ago.
What nonsense! I haven't got a brother.
Oh, don't say that. No matter how badly he may have behaved to you in the past, he is still your brother. You couldn't be so heartless as to disown him. Oh, tell him to come out, and you will shake hands with him, won't you, Uncle Jack?
My brother is in the dining room.
These are very joyful tidings.
After we'd all been resigned to his loss, his sudden return seems to be peculiarly distressing.
I don't know what it all means. I think it is perfectly absurd.
Brother Jack, I have come from town to tell you how sorry I am for all of the trouble that I have caused you, and to tell you that I intend to lead a better life in the future.
Uncle Jack, you are not going to refuse your own brother's hand.
Nothing will induce me to take his hand. I think his coming here is disgraceful. He knows perfectly well why.
Uncle Jack, do be nice. There is much good in everyone. Ernest has just been telling me about his poor invalid friend Bunbury. He visits so often. Surely there must be much good in one who is kind to an invalid and leaves the pleasures of London to sit by a bed of pain.
Bunbury! I won't have him talk to you about Bunbury or about anything else. It's enough to drive one perfectly frantic.
I must say, I do find Jack's coldness to me is peculiarly painful.
Uncle Jack, if you do not shake hands with Ernest, I will never forgive you.
Never forgive me.
Never, never, never.
It's the last time I shall ever do it.
It's pleasant, is it not, to see so perfect a reconciliation?
I think we might leave the two brothers together. Cecily, come with me.
Certainly, Miss Prism. My little task of reconciliation is over. I'm very happy.
Out you young scoundrel! You must get out of this place as soon as possible. I don't allow any Bunburying here. Mannion, order the carriage at once. Mr. Moncrief has been suddenly called back to town.
Yes, sir.
I've not been called back to town at all.
Your duty as a gentleman calls you back.
My duty as a gentleman has never interfered with my pleasures in the smallest degree. Cecily is a darling.
You are not to talk of mischarging like that. I don't like it.
I don't like your clothes.
I demand that you leave this instant.
Certainly won't leave you now. That would be rude.
Your vanity is ridiculous. Your conduct is outrage, and your presence in my garden utterly absurd. However, you have got to catch the 4-5, and I hope you'll have a pleasant journey on your way back to town. This Bunburying, as you call it, has not been a great success for you.
Oh, I thought you were with Uncle Jack.
No, he's going to send me away.
And have we got to part?
I'm afraid so. It is a very painful parting.
The carriage is at the door, sir.
He can wait, Merriman, for 5 minutes.
Yes, miss.
Cecily, I hope I shall not offend you if I state quite openly and frankly that you seem to me to be in every way the visible personification of absolute affection.
I think your frankness does you great credit, Ernest. If you will allow me, I will copy your remarks into my diary.
Do you really have a diary? I'd give anything to look at it. May I?
Oh no, it's private and only meant for publication. When it appears in volume form, I hope you will order a copy. But pray, Ernest, don't stop. I delight in taking down from dictation. I've reached absolute perfection. You can go on. I'm quite ready for more.
Cecily, ever since I first looked upon your wonderful and incomparable beauty, I have dared to love you wildly, passionately, devotedly, hopelessly.
I don't think you should tell me that you love me wildly, passionately, devotedly, hopelessly. Hopelessly doesn't seem to make much sense, does it?
The carriage is waiting, sir.
Tell it to come round next week. At the same hour.
Yes, sir.
You will marry me, won't you?
Of course. Why, we have been engaged for the last 3 months.
The last 3 months.
Yes, it will be exactly 3 months on Thursday.
How did we become engaged?
Well, ever since dear Uncle Jack first confessed to us that a younger brother who was very wicked and bad, you have formed the chief topic of conversation between myself and Miss Prism. And of course, a man who is much talked about is always very attractive. I dare say, it was foolish of me, but I fell in love with you, Ernest.
Darling, when was the engagement actually settled?
On the 14th of February last, worn out by your entire ignorance of my existence. I determined to end the matter one way or the other. And after a long struggle with myself, I accepted you in this very garden. Oh, it has always been a girlish dream of mine to love someone whose name was Earnest. Oh, there is something in that name that seems to inspire absolute confidence. I pity any poor married woman whose husband is not called Earnest.
But, my dear Cecily, do you mean to say that you could not love me if I had some other name like Algernon, for instance?
But I don't like the name Algernon.
But my dear, sweet, loving Cecily, I really can't see why you should object the name Algernon. If my name were Algernon, wouldn't you love me?
I might respect you, Ernest. I might admire your character, but I fear I should not be able to give you my undivided attention.
I'm afraid I must speak to my brother Jack at once about this important business.
Considering that we have been engaged for the last 3 months, and I only met you today for the first time, I find it rather difficult that you should leave me.
Back in no time.
Miss Fairfax is here to see Mr. Worthing on very important business, Miss Fairfax states.
Ask the lady to come out here. Mr. Worthing is sure to be back soon, and you can bring tea.
Yes, miss.
Please let me introduce myself. My name is Cecily Cardew.
Cecily Cardew? Oh, what a very sweet name. Something tells me we are going to be great friends. You are here on a short visit, I suppose?
Oh no, I live here.
Oh, really? Your mother, no doubt, or some female relative of advanced years, resides here also?
I have no mother, nor in fact any relations. My dear guardian, with the assistance of Miss Prism, have the arduous task of looking after me.
Your guardian?
Yes, I am Mr. Worthing's ward.
Oh! It is strange that he never mentioned to me that he had a ward. How secretive of him. It grows more interesting hourly. However, I cannot say this news fills me with feelings of unmixed delight. I am very fond of you, Cecily! I have liked you ever since I met you. But now that I know you are Mr. Worthing's ward, I cannot help expressing a wish that you were, well, just a little older than you seem to be, and not quite so very alluring in appearance. Ernest has a strong, upright nature, and his loyalty would be as impossible to him as deception.
And I beg your pardon, Gwendolyn. Did you say Ernest?
Yes!
Oh, but it is not Mr. Ernest Worthing who is my guardian. It is his brother, his elder brother.
Ernest never mentioned to me that he had a brother.
I'm sorry to say we have not been on good terms for a long time.
Ah, well, that accounts for it. Oh, it would have been terrible if any cloud had come across a friendship like ours, would it not?
Dearest Gwendolyn, there is no reason why I should make it a secret to you. Sir Ernest Worthing and I are engaged to be married.
Oh, my darling Cecily! incident, pray do so. Oh, I am so sorry, dear Cecily, if it is of any disappointment to you, but I am afraid I have the prior claim.
Well, since Ernest proposed to you, he clearly changed his mind.
If the poor fellow has been entrapped into any foolish promise, I shall consider it my duty to rescue him at once, and with a firm hand.
Do you say that I entrapped Ernest into an engagement? How dare you!
Shall I lay tea here as usual, miss?
Yes, as usual. May I offer you some tea, Mr. Hut?
Oh, thank you.
Sugar.
Oh, no, thank you. Sugar is not fashionable anymore.
Cake or bread and butter?
Oh, bread and butter, please. Cake is rarely seen in the best houses nowadays.
And that's Miss Fairfax.
You have filled my tea with sugar, and though I asked most distinctly for bread and butter, you have given me cake. I am known for the gentleness of my disposition and the extraordinary sweetness of my nature. But I warn you, Miss Cardew, you may go too far.
Oh, to save my poor, innocent, trusting boy from the machinations of any other girl, there are no lengths to which I would not go. Ernest! Oh, my own Ernest!
Gwendolyn, darling, you came back.
Oh, wait a moment. Are you engaged to be married to this young lady?
To dear little Cecily? Of course not. Who could have put such an idea into your pretty little head?
Thank you. You may kiss me now.
I knew there must be some misunderstanding, Miss Fairfax. The gentleman whose arm is at present around your waist is my guardian, Mr. John Worthing.
I beg your pardon.
This is Uncle Jack.
Jack! Oh!
Oh, here is Ernest.
My own love.
A moment, Ernest. Engaged to be married to this young lady.
To what young lady? Good heavens, Gwendolyn. Of course not. What could have put such an idea into your pretty little head?
Thank you, you may.
I felt there was some slight error, Miss Cardew. The gentleman whose hands you are now holding is my cousin, Mr. Algernon Moncrief.
Algernon Moncrief. Oh, are you called Algernon?
I cannot deny it.
Oh!
Is your name really Jack?
I could deny it if I liked, but I won't. My name certainly is Jack. It's been Jack for years.
Gross deception has been practiced on the both of us.
You will call me sister, will you not?
There is just one thing I would like to ask my guardian.
An admirable idea. Mr. Worthing, there is just one question I would like to be permitted to put to you. Where is your brother Ernest? We are both engaged to be married to your brother Ernest, so it is a matter of some importance to us to know where your brother Ernest is at present.
Gwendolyn, Cecily, it is very painful for me to be forced to speak the truth. It is the first time in my life I have ever been reduced to such a painful position, and I'm really quite inexperienced in doing anything of this kind. However, I will tell you quite frankly that I have no brother Ernest. I have no brother at all. I never had a brother in my life, and I have certainly not the smallest intention of ever having one in the future.
No brother at all?
None.
Have you never a brother of any kind?
Never. Not even of any kind.
I am afraid it is quite clear, Cecily, that neither of us is engaged to anyone.
It is not a very pleasant position for a young girl to find herself in, is it?
No. Let us go into the house. They will hardly venture to come after us then.
No! Men are so cowardly, aren't they?
Well, this ghastly state of affairs is what you call bunburying, I suppose. Yes.
a perfectly wonderful Bunbury it is. The most wonderful Bunbury I've had in my life.
Well, there is certainly no chance of your marrying Miss Cardew.
Well, I don't think, Jack, that there is much likelihood of you Miss Fairfax united.
The fact that neither of you followed us into the house, as anyone else would have done, seems to me to show that you still have some sense of shame left. Mr. Worthing, I have something very particular to ask you. Much depends on your reply.
Gwendolyn, your common sense is invaluable. Mr. Moncrief, kindly answer me the following question. Why did you pretend to be my guardian's brother?
In order that I might have the opportunity of meeting you.
That certainly seems a satisfactory explanation, does it not?
Yes, dear, if you can believe him.
I don't. But that does not affect the wonderful beauty of his answer.
Mr. Worthing! What explanation can you offer me for pretending to have a brother? Was it in order that you might have the opportunity of coming to town to see me as often as possible?
Can you doubt it, Miss Fairfax?
I have the greatest doubts upon this subject, but I intend to crush them. Their explanations appear to be quite satisfactory, especially Mr. Worthing's. That seems to me to have the stamp of truth on it.
Well, I am more than content with what Mr. Moncrief said. His voice alone inspires absolute credulity.
Then you think we should forgive them?
Yes! I mean, no!
I've forgotten. There are principles at stake that one cannot surrender. Which of us should tell them? The task is not a pleasant one.
Could we not both speak at the same time?
An excellent idea! I nearly always speak at the same time as other people. Will you take the time from me?
Certainly.
Your given names are still an insuperable barrier. That is all.
Our names? Is that all? But we can change them.
You would do that?
Of course. We hate our names. Anything for you.
Darling!
Darling.
What does this mean?
Merely that I am engaged to be married to Mr. Worthing.
You are nothing of the kind. There's none.
Yes, Augusta.
Have you heard from your invalid friend, Mr. Bunbury?
Oh, no. In fact, Bunbury died.
Dead? When did Mr. Bunbury die? His death must have been extremely sudden.
Yes, I killed Bunbury this afternoon. Poor Bunbury died this afternoon.
What did he die of?
Bunbury? He was found out. The doctors found out that he could not live anymore. That was what I mean. So Bunbury died.
He seems to have great confidence in the opinion of all of his physicians. I am glad, however, that he made up his mind at the last to some definite course of action and acted upon proper medical advice. And now that we have finally gotten rid of this Mr. Bunbury, may I ask you, Mr. Worthing, who is that young person whose hand my nephew Algernon is now holding in what seems to me a peculiarly unnecessary manner?
That lady is Miss Cardew, my ward.
I'm engaged to be married to Cecily, Aunt Augusta.
I beg your pardon. Mr. Moncrief and I are engaged to be married, Lady Bracknell. The number of engagements going on seems considerably above the proper average. Mr. Worthing, is Miss Cardew at all connected with any of the larger railway stations of London? I merely desire information. Until this morning I had no idea that there are any families or persons whose origin was a terminal.
I have in my possession, you'll be pleased to hear, certificates of Miss Cardew's birth, baptism, whooping cough, registration, vaccination, confirmation of the measles, both the German and the English varieties.
Ah! A life crowded with incident, I see. I am not in favor of premature experiences. Gwendolyn, the time approaches for departure. Gwendolyn! As a matter of form, Mr. Worthing, I'd better ask you if Miss Cardew has any little fortune.
Oh! Only about £100,000 in the bank. That is all. Goodbye, Lady Bracknell. So pleased to have seen you.
A moment. Miss Harold seems to be the most attractive young lady. Now, if I look at her, very few girls at the present day have any really solid qualities that last and improve with time. We live, I regret to say, in an age of surfaces. Come over here, dear. Kindly turn to your side, sweet child. Yes. Quite as expected. Algernon, there are distinct social possibilities in Miss Cardew's profile.
Cecily is the dearest, sweetest, prettiest girl in the whole world. And I don't care sense about social possibility.
Never speak disrespectfully of society, Algernon. Only people who can't get into it do that. Well, I suppose I must give my consent.
Thank you, Aunt Augusta.
Cecily, you may kiss me. Thank you, Lady Bracknell. The marriage, I think, had better take place quite soon. To speak frankly, I'm not in favor of long engagements. They give people the opportunity of finding out each other's character before marriage, which I think is never advisable.
I beg your pardon for interrupting you, Lady Bracknell, but this engagement is quite out of the question. I am Miss Cardew's guardian, and she cannot marry without my consent until she comes of age. That consent I absolutely decline to give.
Upon what grounds, may I ask? Algernon is an extremely, I may almost say, ostentatiously eligible young man. He has nothing, but he looks everything what more can one desire.
The fact that I do not prove at all his moral character, I suspect him being untruthful.
Untruthful? My nephew Algernon? Impossible.
I fear there can be no possible doubt about the matter. This afternoon, in his disgraceful deception, he succeeded in alienating the affections of my only ward. And what makes his conduct all the more heartless is that he was perfectly aware from the first that I have no brother, that I never had a brother, and that I don't intend to have a brother, not even of any kind.
I would beg you to reconsider your decision.
But my dear Lady Bracknell, the matter is entirely in your own hands. The moment you consent to my marriage with Gwendolyn, I will most gladly allow your nephew to form an alliance with my ward.
You must be quite aware that what you propose is out of the question.
Then a passionate celibacy is all that any of us can look forward to.
That is not the destiny I propose for Gwendolyn. Algernon, of course, can choose for himself.
Prism!
Oh, Cecily, there you are. I've been looking. Prism! Come here, Prism. Sit. Where is that baby?
Prism! A baby!
21 years ago, Prism, you left Lord Bracknell's house in charge of a perambulator that contained a baby of the male sex. You never returned. A few weeks later, through the elaborate investigations of the police department, the perambulator was discovered in a remote alley, but the baby was not there. Prism, where is that baby?
Lady Bracknell, I admit with shame that I do not know. I only wish I did. The plain facts of the case are these. On the morning of the day you mentioned, a day that is forever branded in my memory, I prepared as usual to take the baby out in its perambulator. I also had with me a very old, yet capacious handbag. In the moment of mental abstraction, for which I can never forgive myself, I placed the baby in the handbag and I left it in the cloakroom of one of the larger railway stations in London.
What railway station, Miss Prism? This is a matter of no small importance to me.
Victoria.
I must retire to my room for the moment. Gwendolyn, wait here for me.
If you are not too long, I will wait here for you all my life.
What do you think this means, Lady Bracknell?
I dare not even suspect, Dr. Trudgebull. I need hardly tell you that in families of high position, strange coincidences are not supposed to occur.
Uncle Jack seems strangely agitated.
Your guardian has a very emotional nature.
Is this the handbag, Miss Prism? Examine it carefully before you speak. The happiness of more than one life depends on your answer.
It appears to be mine. Yes, Here are the look of my initials. I'd forgotten that in an extravagant mood I had them placed there. I'm delighted to have it so unexpectedly restored to me. It had been a great inconvenience being without it all these years.
Miss Prism, more is restored to you than this handbag. I was the baby you placed in it.
You?
Yes, Mother.
Mr. Wilde, I am unmarried.
Mother, I forgive you.
Mr. Worthing, there seems to be some error. There is the lady who can tell you who you really are.
Lady Rackham, I hate to seem inquisitive, but would you like to inform me who I am?
I'm afraid the news I have to give you will not altogether please you. You are the son of my poor sister, Mrs. Moncrief, and consequently, Algernon's elder brother.
Algy's elder brother. I knew I had a brother. I always said I had a brother. Cecily, how could you ever doubt that I had a brother? Algy, you young scoundrel. You've never behaved to me like a brother in all your life.
Not till today, old boy, I admit. I did my best, however, though I was a bit out of practice.
My love, what is your given name now that you've become someone else?
I had quite forgotten that point. Your decision on the subject of my name is irrevocable, I suppose.
Why, I never change.
Except in my affections. What a noble nature you have, Gwendolen.
Then the question had better be cleared up at once.
Algy, can't you recollect what our father's name was?
My dear boy, we were never even on speaking terms. He died before I was a year old.
Aunt Augusta, at the time when Miss Prism left me in the handbag, what name was I given? Let me know the worst.
Being the eldest, you were naturally named after your father.
Yes, but what was my father's name?
Yes. I remember now. Your father's name was Earnest John. I knew I had a particular reason for disliking the name.
Ernest John. Oh, I always told you, Gwendolyn, my name was Earnest, didn't I? Well, it really is Ernest after all. I mean, it naturally is Ernest.
Ernest, oh my own Ernest! Why, I felt in the buzz that you could have no other name.
Gwendolyn, it is a terrible thing for a man to find out suddenly. All his life, he's been speaking nothing but the truth.
I can forgive you, for I feel that you are sure to change.
My love.
Letitia!
Frederick!
At last, Gwendolyn, at last.
My nephew, you seem to be displaying signs of triviality.
On the contrary, Aunt Augusta, I have now realized, for the first time in my life, the vital importance of being earnest.